Okay, so for today, I'm gonna have to cover some important due dates and announcements first before I actually go over an example. But don't worry, we're gonna do something new today, or at least for 2 weeks from now on. But I'm gonna go over an example. Michael, if you need to see the example, just play this video back. It's probably gonna be on the website by this weekend. Sure. Okay, so quick update. First of all, just as a quick reminder, please disregard the due dates posted in the last meeting. That's the reason why I didn't actually post on the school website. Our mentor didn't want us to go into revision just yet because for you to revise something, you need perfect clarity, and we don't have that yet. So we're kind of going to go a little bit step by step, but don't worry, revision is coming. It's just not going to be immediately now. With some mentor guidance, we'll hold off from 3D modeling. So do not revise your 3D models. But for students who did not turn their 3D models in, please do so. There's a Google Drive folder we're sharing. We'll need them this week. So we're going to need to take pictures, and we're going to have to write down descriptions, but we're not going to model. So don't worry if your Autodesk isn't working for now. If it hasn't been, just please try to get it working. But no modeling as of now. But if you haven't turned it in, please do. So let me just go over quickly what we're going to do this week. It's going to be called descriptive blueprinting. To put it simply, descriptive blueprinting is when you describe the specifications of an object through words. These may include dimensions, material, mechanical assembly, and mechanisms. Now I know some of those are some little complex words, but what it's basically trying to say is if you had to describe to like a blind person how this object looks like and what it's supposed to do, and you write them down for them, that's basically descriptive blueprinting. Now, you can never go wrong with over describing. Kind of like your AT questions, you never underwrite, you always overwrite. So please don't worry about oh, is this information necessary? Even if it's unnecessary, I want you to put it down. So basically, descriptive blueprinting is kind of like there's an object and you write down as much detail as possible. That's kind of like the in a nutshell type of view. So like if I had a PVC pipe, my main description was to be something like 0.5 millimeter radius, 0.1 millimeter radius extrusion for a cylinder. And basically it's kind of like used for water. Water may go through, water pressure around 50 PSI might pass through. And these are all arbitrary numbers, by the way. Did you have something to say? Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like that. It's like and it's like if you describe like a water bucket, it can be as simple as like, oh, just a rectangular or square container containing maybe around 20 to 30 milliliters of water. Just little descriptions like that. So this is our example, but I'm not going to go over that just yet. I'm just going to go over some more important issues for now. So some specific directions. Okay, so this is kind of like the more solid directions. For both groups, the group leaders will mostly lead the activity for all members. Basically, like what we did with brainstorming, where Michael, Junso, Ethan, and Jake, you guys kind of like led the discussion, and at the very end, in like a 2 weeks end period, you guys gave me like a picture, like a list of things you wanted to brainstorm. It's basically it's going to be a little bit like that, but a little bit more organized. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a single Google document. It's going to have a bunch of tables in it. Now, there's going to be one table for one part. Now, don't overcomplicate it. A table is just like a square box. You're going to have like one square box for the picture and another square box to write stuff down. It's really simple. I'm going to get that thing sent out maybe this weekend. So the group leaders for who's in this meeting and who's not, or who's just watching the recording, please make sure to get that document and kind of like explain it to students who don't understand it yet. Maybe send them like a link to this lecture, but that's basically it. We'll share one Google Doc. So it's not multiple Google Docs, it's just one Google Docs filled with all the parts. And please make sure to discuss with your group leaders and members to make estimated measurements. So like, let me grab this water bottle quickly over here. Obviously, there's many ways to describe this, but I could probably say something like 3 inches. 3 inches is too much. Maybe like 1.5 inches radius. I could probably say something like 5 to 6 inches in height, maybe contain around 500 milliliters of water. So obviously these are very specific measurements, but I don't want you to come up with difficulty with describing on how long and how wide things are. I just want to kind of estimate them. Now, I don't want you to put that burden on you alone. So that's where you have to discuss with your group leaders and members. So is there anyone who have questions with what we're going to do? Anyone here? Anyone in the Zoom meeting? I know some of for you guys, it may be a little bit counterproductive, like, hey, we already know what the parts are going to do. Why are we doing it? Well, it's something our mentor requested as a part where when we actually do start prototyping, they want to make sure that they know that the part they're creating is what we want. So, try to be as descriptive as possible. You don't have to use technical language. You don't have to be professional. Just make it so that when another person reads it, they have like a very clear idea of, oh, this is what it's supposed to do. So just going over parts assignment, it's going to be same as modeling. Jake and Ethan are going to take specificity of the fingers, and Junso and Michael are going to take specificity of the wrist. Please, group leaders, if you're watching over here or if you're just watching the recording, please make sure to organize all these students. And for members who are not attending this meeting or didn't watch the recording, please make sure to guide them through what descriptive blueprinting is. But as I said, in a nutshell, there's a picture and you just describe it. All right, it looks like we're almost there. Now, just one last thing, due dates. Please write at least one sentence to your part for descriptive blueprinting by March 24th. Now, as I said, here are your parts. I just need one sentence from each one of you guys. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to restrict you to one sentence. You can create something like 5 or 6. I'm just saying put at least one and have it by the 24th. Maximum, it's going to take you like a minute to do. So please, you try to get this goal accomplished. And for students who haven't turned in their 3D models, please turn it in by the 25th. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the essential info. Michael, you're free to go. Sorry for being a little bit over time. But yeah. Now let's kind of go over some of the examples. Michael, don't you have to go? All right. I'll make sure to put this on by Saturday on our club website. So if you need to watch the recording, just get it from there. Take care. All righty. So with that said, is there anyone who has a question about anything we're doing, like due dates, any like what we need to do, why are we doing this? I know it's a little bit weird that we might be doing this, but it's just like a necessary step, because the least thing we want is having a prototype that doesn't function as we want, especially with the whole shipping. We don't want them to ask, because, at the end of the day, they're volunteering to help us. We don't want to put that burden where it's like, we ask them to make one thing, but then it's completely different than what we envisioned. And, we don't want to run into that. So it's almost like a cautionary measure. So with that said, let me go over a very quick example. So this is well, I don't know what this is. I just took it from the 3309 Robotics Club from 2017. But it's something. And it was doing something. So essentially, this is made out of sheet metal, 25 millimeter thick base plates, 15 millimeter thick side triangles, and support. Now, I know all of this sounds a little bit complicated and a little bit technical. Like, where did I get this number, and how did I come up with the vocab to describe this? Well, it's basically all estimates. I don't know if it's 25 millimeters thick. It's probably not, because it looks a little bit thicker than 25 millimeters. It's probably not 15 millimeters thick side triangles. I don't know what they're called. They might be called side flaps. They might be called protection covers. Who knows? But I just call it side triangles because it's an easy way to recognize what they are. And I said 2 parallel and perpendicular pill-shaped cuts. You don't have to use like intricate language like elongated circle or elongated sphere. All you have to do is just kind of describe it to them. Because if I say something like pill-shaped cuts, it's pretty easy to understand. I said radius 5 millimeter. and I said length from center to center, you see how I put that parentheses there? People might have difficulty understanding what that length 10 millimeter means. So I put that parentheses there to say that, hey, this 10 millimeter, it's from center to center. Now, I know, as I said, you guys don't know precise measurements, but this is just kind of like an estimate you'll have to do. Now, one benefit to doing all this, or doing all of your 3D modeling stuff, is that you actually can get precise 3D measurements. What you have to do is pull up Autodesk Inventor, and when you go, there's a section called Measure. And when you click Measure, it kind of just tells you how long things are. So if you did your models properly, and I know I know there's at least like a set of people that did all models correctly, there's going to be, room for precise measurement, basically. So do know that with the whole 3D modeling, there was a benefit to it. Now, I kind of gave you a general description of how to make this object, and I tell you what it does. Mechanism will rotate 180 degrees clockwise parallel with the ground. Now, why did I specify that? Well, basically, when you make heavy-duty machines, we're not exactly making heavy-duty machines. It's not probably going to be a force above any like specific. It's probably not going to be any insurmountable force enough to bend metal. But usually, when you do make mechanical parts, you have to take into account for metals bending and what kind of pressure it will undergo. But that's something for sure you don't have to worry about. But I'm just saying, if you want to be more descriptive, this is something you can do. For example, mechanism will undergo rotational force of around 40 revolutions per minute. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you spin an object fast enough, it should start to bend. Is that true, Mrs. Patrizia?
Spin an object fast enough, it should start to bend.
Or if something happens to it, that shouldn't.
Yeah, because if you were in outer space, no, but gravitational force will, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, if something goes like really, really fast and you don't account for the whole centrifugal acceleration and centrifugal force, it's gonna look all funky after you're done whatever you're doing. Now, obviously, we're not gonna go at a speed where we're gonna bend metal, but as I said, this is just kind of like giving people more info, and kind of like an AP question, you never under describe, you always over describe. So that's just like a gist of what we're gonna do, or what it should look like. Anyone have any questions? Kind of clear, Cyrus? Alrighty. Alrighty, so that's basically it. I'm sorry if I rushed today's meeting a little bit. I had to, because someone had to go, but just now, so basically that's what we're gonna do. Now, I know some of you have questions with like, I know one of you guys asked me what we're exactly gonna do with the whole 3D modeling. I kind of rushed when I was explaining kind of like why we're stopping on 3D modeling. But essentially, it's kind of like one of the things our mentor cautioned us was don't be a little too hasty, because he said whenever there's a company developing anything, a new device or anything, what they'll usually do is they'll be too headstrong, and they'll make something without even realizing how to replicate it, or how even having precise blueprints or what each mechanism does. That usually leads to machine failure. Now, I just say machine failure, but of course, in the large spectrum industry of whole medical devising and industrial devising, it's probably going to be something else, a little bit more bigger magnitude. At the end of the day, we're trying to make a medical device. It's supposed to help someone, or at least we're trying to make it so that this device can help someone in the near future. We want to be as precise as possible and as cautionary as possible. Obviously, with the help we're receiving right now, this isn't something we're ever going to run into, and I can promise you that we won't. But we still want to take this cautionary measure, because at the end of the day, this is a part of actually creating a medical device. There's so many clinical tests. There's so many actually like developer feedback. There's always, detail, like a millimeter detail, blueprinting, things like that. It's an actual part of the industry. So this is just kind of like letting you guys experience how it actually feels like to make a device that will have to go through cautionary testing and measure. So that's basically what this process is. For students who are watching this meeting later, please know that we're not going to do 3D modeling as of now. We're going to have to take pictures though. So do know that. I'm gonna but that's not all the members should worry about. I'm gonna contact group members later, and they're gonna have to take pictures of each parts and lay them out nicely so that people can understand what they are. So that's essentially the gist of the meeting for technical parts. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk to about this meeting. It's yearbook pictures. Yeah. Obviously, it's a little bit hard to take them right now, especially because we're always so complications in schedule and COVID restrictions.
Why don't you just take it in here, like at whatever time, and those of you that are here can stand in front of the screen, and those of them that are online can just adjust their cameras appropriately, and they'd still be in the picture.
That's an excellent idea. Oh wow, you just solved our problem here. Did you guys wait? Did you guys hear that? Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this, but there's like a giant screen over there, and Cyrus is watching through there. She said we could do like that Zoom panel thing where like everyone shows up, and the people who are physically here can stand. Okay, that's a great idea.
Then everybody's in.
Yeah. Yeah, but then that comes into mind. What's the time where everyone can stay here? Because I know Jake and Ethan, they're tennis and wrestling.
You can do it in the morning. It's only gonna take you like 10 minutes.
Yeah, or like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just pick a time like right before school one day. Who's gonna take it? Your book people? Like
well,
Marcus or something?
well, for CSF, they asked us to take pictures ourselves.
Oh, okay. Then that's fine.
Yeah. So what I was thinking of was just having my phone and having like a bipod.
Yeah. Just have people come by like 10 minutes before school starts one day.
Right.
And we'll take it, and everybody can be on their way.
Okay. June, I'm sorry, but can you take off like 5 minutes off of Bible study?
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, but I feel like the morning.
You in the picture.
No, I'm free like 30 minutes before school. I'm free.
Okay, yeah, because like maybe we'll do it like 10 minutes before school starts, because at the end it's gonna take like a minute, maximum. We say 5 minutes, but it's gonna take like a minute. So I think I already did a poll on what times you guys are available. I think you guys said Wednesday. So we'll probably roll with Wednesday.
And this is a simple thing. This isn't like a 40-minute thing. So they'll all be available.
Yeah, it's like a minute thing. Like, guys, come on. Yeah. Yeah, like who actually needs like all the 30 minutes in the morning?
No.
So maybe like next week or next week, I'll send you guys an announcement. Oh shoot, yeah.
No, it could be next week, but it has to be Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so don't worry, I'll make that arrangement as soon as possible. So do keep in mind for that. Please check your email. And for group leaders, please email your members and tell them, hey, we're taking a yearbook photo. We definitely want around 20 people because our club is around that big, okay? I know we have like 35 members in the board, but 10 people usually don't come. So we should have around 20, okay? You know that picture we took like 2 weeks ago or like 2 months ago? We had like 15 people there. So I know y'all can make it, okay? Alrighty, but that's pretty much it. Just last minute reminders, yearbook photos, please come to that meeting. Most likely gonna be next Wednesday. Please write one sentence for your part. Here's the part assignment in case you guys need it. Please just write one sentence, but you can always write more. Make sure to turn in your models if you haven't. It's going to be in a Google Drive folder. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys are free to go. If you don't have any questions, feel free to leave.